Just imagine you're perfectly healthy one day and fighting for your life the next day. That's how fast and how hard meningitis strikes and why many colleges are requiring teens to have the meningitis vaccine. Melissa talks with this young reporter who knows that scoop firsthand. And a warning on this to your health, you're going to see some very graphic pictures.
In his final weeks of college, Topeka Capital Journal reporter Andy Marceau found himself on the other side of the headlines.
Overnight, I went from like totally healthy to almost dead.
Andy told a friend he was going to bed early with what he thought was the flu. By morning, he could barely get up.
A couple of friends of mine came to check on me, and they actually had to carry me downstairs, put me in a car, and take me to the doctor.
Andy had a rare form of bacterial meningitis. He was flown to KU Med, where he'd spend the next 119 days.
The bacteria had gone all throughout my bloodstream, so it had compromised all my vital organs.
It also cut off the blood supply to Andy's hands and feet.
So this was probably just a couple weeks before the amputation.
These photos show the graphic consequences.
When I woke up, my fingers and toes were pretty much rotting away while still attached to my body.
Doctors compared it to having third-degree burns over 30% of his body. The treatments were just like a burn patient, removing dead tissue and grafting new skin. They saved his arms and legs, that's a brace he wears, but he had a total of 16 surgeries to reshape his hands and feet. One of those college friends, Randy Schumacher, is now a doctor at Topeka's pediatric care.
I've seen what it's done firsthand.
His friend's ordeal is why he's a strong proponent of the meningitis vaccine. It's recommended after age 11 with the booster at age 16, before kids head off to college where they're more at risk since the bacteria spreads through close contact.
When you get a lot of incoming freshmen that maybe are a little bit sleep deprived and so their immune systems are down a little bit, and put them all in one close group on campus housing, then it really does create almost a petri dish for this.
Andy agrees if more teens and parents were educated, they wouldn't hesitate to get the shot and lower their risk. He wishes he'd known.
I think I knew it was contagious. I know I didn't know that it was like potentially fatal, that it could do this to me.
Despite it all, he knows how lucky he is.
And you have a choice. You either like, well, I just give up, or try and go as far as I can with what I have left. And that's a pretty easy choice.
Wow, we very much appreciate Andy coming to see us and sharing his story. This meningitis vaccine covers 4 bacterial strains responsible for about 85% of meningitis cases. Most insurance now covers it. And after the ordeal of Andy Marceau, the State Board of Regents adopted a requirement for all students who live in on-campus housing to have that vaccine. First up tonight, do you think you could safely drive the length of a football field blindfolded at 55 miles per hour? Well, experts say that's pretty much what you're doing if you text while you're driving.
But you don't need to take the experts' words for how dangerous it can be. Tonight, a Northeast Kansas family shares their personal pain in hopes it saves your life.
She was 19. She had finally discovered what she wanted to do and who she wanted to be, and it was all taken away.
K-State freshman Ashley Umshine's 19 years ended with one letter.
She had responded back with just the letter K, but I never got it.
May 16th, 2009, Ashley was texting with her sister Amanda. Ironically, it was the 9-year anniversary of their father's death. Ashley wanted to know if Amanda would make it to that weekend's family reunion. Amanda replied, yeah. Then,
and the conversation just stopped.
A half hour later, Amanda's mom called to say Ashley had been in an accident.
And she felt her tires swerve off into the
Before
ground.
Ashley could hit send on that response of K, her truck drifted off K-18 on the west edge of Manhattan. She overcorrected. The truck rolled, taking chunks out of the highway, tossing Ashley through the window despite her seatbelt. 3 days later, the country girl with the pink cowboy boots was dead.
I was angry. I do feel kind of responsible, and people have told me time and time again that it's not my fault, that we have to be responsible for our own actions. I didn't know she was driving, but I still feel protective of her and was angry at myself that we could have been so negligent to let something like this happen.
But through their grief, Ashley's family is driving home a message.
If I could talk to her one last time, I would just say I'm sorry.
Amanda appears in a national ad campaign for AT&T, putting a face on the dangers of texting while driving. She's also started speaking to groups nationwide.
Everybody thinks they're invincible until it happens to them. And there's no way to drive that home to somebody that they're worth so much more than the text.
Amanda's one hope is that people, particularly teens, will listen to her story and take it to heart. That, she says, might begin to repair a small part of what's left her heart broken.
I want her to be remembered as the most amazing little sister anybody could ask for. And I don't want another family to lose what we've had to lose.
And you can hear Amanda share her story at a free event that Stormont Vail is hosting. It's called YOLO, You Only Live Once, an injury prevention expo for teens. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. October 10th over at Hummer Sports Park. It's free, including food and prizes, and we have a lot more resources and links to documentaries the family has participated in at WIBW.com.
It's no secret that cancer treatments often bring challenging side effects, both physical and emotional.
Dealing with the big picture of any serious illness is the focus of palliative care. Our Melissa Bruner shares tonight at 10 how it helped this family through their battle.
Sarah and John Ratzenberger were barely through their honeymoon when the symptoms began.
It started in January of 2010 with a cough, and they diagnosed with pneumonia.
The cough didn't go away, and 6 months later, surgery to remove a lemon-sized tumor revealed the startling news.
On July 23, 2010, my wife Sarah was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
Suddenly, this 31-year-old avid runner who never smoked was in an unexpected race against time.
It was less about curing the disease than it was prolonging her life and doing what we could to try and treat and just make her feel better.
And that's where the Stormont Vail Cancer Center's palliative care program stepped in to help.
Just as hard as they're fighting to fight their disease, they want to fight just as hard to feel good. So our main goal in palliative care is to help patients feel the best they can feel every day.
Program coordinator Robin Holthouse says palliative care provides an extra layer of support for patients with serious illness. The team includes doctors and nurses who serve as a central point in coordinating care, not just physical symptoms, but also emotional and spiritual needs.
And we spend as much time as needed to answer all the difficult questions. We talk a lot about goals of care.
In Sarah's case, John says it was Robin who, a year into Sarah's treatment, noticed unusual side effects and insisted on an MRI that revealed cancer had spread to her brain.
They discovered that. She was able to get the radiation treatment, and so she had another almost year and a half after that.
It was time they used to travel and enjoy life. Sarah died November 8th at the age of 33. John credits the palliative care team for leaving him at peace with his memories.
She was an amazing, amazing person, and I can look back and I see how strong she was and what she went through. But it also gives me the chance to not just see Sarah as a diagnosis or me seeing her as somebody that I gave support and care to. I get to see her as my wife, and that's the important thing.
Melissa Bruner, 13 News.
Thank you, John and Melissa. The Cancer Center's outpatient palliative care team is a partnership with Midland Care. Midland also has a community-based palliative care program for those who are not Stormont Vail patients.